Speaking26, Aaron at speaking26.com. Okay, pharmacists, here we are in June 2025. Registration for FPGEE is currently open. Some of you are watching and listening as you prepare to get 26 on speaking and finish your TOEFL shortly. Good job. I'm proud of all of you. I'm proud of all of you. Your degree of difficulty is harder than anybody will ever know. I'm proud of all of you. Keep giving your best efforts every day. If some days you're more tired, take a little rest. Allow yourself to recharge and then do your best on that day. Today's advice is about TOEFL iBT speaking question number 1. A pharmacist told me that sometimes the questions feel unfamiliar. Look at how incorrectly unconfident the speaking templates make you guys feel. Your TOEFL speaking question number 1 on the real test will be on a familiar topic, just like TOEFL says it will be. I can't say that about all the free questions you are practicing with on the internet, from free websites, from AI, from other teachers and tutors. I can't say that about those questions, but I don't even need to say it about the real test. TOEFL has already told you about the real test for speaking question number 1, that it will be a familiar topic. A lot of times people will tell me, even when I'm showing them what TOEFL says about question number 1 being a familiar topic, they will say, but Aaron, sometimes the question number 1 is not familiar, it's unfamiliar. And that's when I say what I just said. Well, that's because you're practicing with a lot of questions from AI, YouTube, and free websites instead of official practice. But then I also say, it also feels unfamiliar, even though it truly is familiar. If it's from ETFs, if it's an official TOEFL question, it's familiar. But sometimes it feels unfamiliar because you let somebody convince you that you should artificially inject reasons and examples, that there's a quota minimum of 2 that you have to give for every question. Since you let somebody convince you that you need to artificially inject a personal example, even when you don't really have a personal example, therefore, meaning that you have to create a story spontaneously. For instance, I remember when I was a little boy and my parents took me to the store, followed by you making up something fake, unnatural. That's why it feels like an unfamiliar topic, even though TOEFL tells you it will be on a familiar topic. The strategy that you decided on before you ever saw the first word from the question turns what is a familiar topic into an unfamiliar topic. If I thought that I had to artificially inject a certain amount of examples and reasons, if I felt that I had to artificially inject personal examples even though they're not real, it would feel very unfamiliar to me as well. But since I've showed more test appointment numbers that are fully visible, since I've shown more passing 26s with the test appointment number being fully visible, since I've shown more of those than anybody else has, I know how to get 20s. I'm completely confident. Nobody can convince me of what they convinced you of, to artificially inject things, to be thinking and speaking in unnatural ways. Since I want you to pass and say it was my advice that helped you pass, I want you to be speaking more naturally. Why aren't you already speaking naturally? Well, here's what one pharmacist told me this week. She said, when I'm not confident to speak in a natural way, that's what leads to me thinking that by using personal examples and a certain amount of reasons, it will be enough to overcome my deficiencies. When you guys practice that way, you are training your minds. You are, as she said, you are vanishing the ideas that are already in your mind. Adult, university graduate, pharmacist, you already have many good ideas in your mind. But as soon as you let somebody convince you to start speaking, to start answering, to start practicing, to start training your brain in an artificial, unnatural way, you vanquish the ideas that are already in your mind. I want you to get better at practicing. Increase your confidence by using the amount of courage that you already have. If today you are I know you want more confidence. I know you want more courage, but it's not like you're at level 0 confidence. It's not like you're at level 0 courage. Use the amount of confidence that you already have to answer every question number one as naturally as you possibly can. Maybe that means you have to go through a period of 1 or 2 days not liking your answers. Good things will happen after a short period of 1 or 2 days. Aaron at speaking26.com.